What I'm going to be sharing with you today is how million-dollar e-commerce brands run their email marketing. So bear with me through this and you'll learn a thing or two. So this is off the back of my own experience, co-founded an e-commerce business in 2013 with my brother. We left our corporate job, started an e-commerce business from the kitchen bench. We bootstrapped the business the whole way through. And that business now does multiple seven figures per year. And I've also helped over 250 e-commerce brands as well grow to record revenue months through my paid communities called the Ecom Blueprint Up-Level Mastermind. So this is all that I've learned through email marketing. I'm going to go through a very comprehensive understanding of what seven-figure brand, $1 million a year e-commerce brands do, and hope you can learn something. So first and foremost, the attitude to email marketing is that completely different of people who are doing less than, say, $100,000 per year with their e-commerce brands. And I would say, the people I even speak with are doing sort of less than 60K, less than 50K per year as well. And so they think along the same lines. And that is honestly what I would categorize as a mindset attitude. Okay, people who are doing less than 100K a year, let's call it, have an attitude that we don't want to annoy people. We don't want to send too much in terms of emails. We have to send the same thing. All we have to do is sell. All we have to do is discount. And they have a very negative attitude when it comes to email marketing. Okay. Conversely to that, the $1 million brands that have come through the ranks, they were where you are, have a completely different attitude. And this is something I impart on my clients in the community and program all the time, because mindset is so super important. And the attitude we take is this: no one knows who you are or what you do. And part two to that is everybody wants to know who you are and what you do. Okay, so let me explain both of those things. Nobody knows. Okay, you just have to think about your own personal experience on a daily basis. How many advertisements do you see? How many brands do you see? How many emails do you receive? How many things do you pay attention to in your daily life? There's a lot going on. Like, our minds are buzzed and crazed with how much is actually going on and how much we're being marketed to. And so if you think about a brand that you particularly like, or even one that you don't necessarily like, but you're on their communication channels, how much do you actually remember about the correspondence that they send you via email, via socials, through ads, through any other means of communication? Very little. Very, very, very little, right? Which means that nobody knows who we are and what we do, okay? Nobody knows. Even if you go to somebody's website and it talks about free shipping or this bundle or this pricing, our memories are about a second. Now, that's not anything to do. I'm not going to go bang on about people's concentration levels or focus levels or anything like that. It's just that we have so much going on in our mind, right? But us as business owners on the other side of that fence think that everybody knows everything about us. Okay, so when people say to me, oh, I've spoke about that last week or last month, it's like, people don't understand. Like, people don't remember what you did an hour ago, a minute ago. Okay, so people don't know anything about your business. And that's the attitude and understanding we must have. Now, in my mind, that's a great thing, okay? Because it leads to everyone wants to know who you are and what you do. Okay, so that basically means that whether you've got offers on your site, whether you did this post about this particular product, whether you do this ad about this, whether you only got one product, one message, one benefit, it's something that you continue to repeat. And then when people do eventually know on that 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 15th, 20th time that you've communicated with them, they know exactly what you do for sure. Okay, think about the other brand that has 10 different products and you send an email or correspond with people on 10 different things. They're kind of like, firstly, they weren't paying attention each time. They need that repetition. And then secondly, even if they did pay attention, they're kind of confused about what you do and what you specialize in. Both are bad results. Whereas the person who has one thing to talk about does 10 emails about the cold pressed juice cleanse. They're like, that's what they do, cold pressed juice cleansing. Okay, that's using obviously karmic as an example. And so that attitude and that mindset is so important, and it's really beneficial. It should provide a sense of calm to you as a business owner. That's like, I don't know what to talk about. It's like, honestly, just talk about the same thing over and over and over. Okay, that's obviously a very simplistic way of looking at it, but it's very true. I would rather repeat something over and over than have to try and reinvent wheels and become creative every single time. As I say, people don't know about anything in your business, but you have to take the attitude that they want to. And secondary to that attitude of everyone wanting to, you should take the opportunity through every piece of correspondence, especially through email marketing, that they're hearing things for the first time, right? So that level of enthusiasm and excitement and, passion that you probably have for your business and your products, if not now, it was right in the beginning, should come through with every piece of correspondence. Because if you're doing the right thing, if you're doing the right actions, your database should be growing daily. So the person that signed up yesterday doesn't know about that thing you talked about 2 days ago or a week ago or a month ago. So your thing that everyone wants to hear about, that no one knows anything about, should come through with the same level of enthusiasm over and over. Make no assumptions with your future correspondence or emails that they've seen the one before, because the chances are very high that they have not. Okay, so this attitude with me, and then obviously transpiring this to our clients and the programs as well, has paid huge dividends, monstrous dividends. No one knows who you are or anything that you do. Everyone wants to know who you are and what you do. Very, very simple. So what that basically does, it should give you a sense of calm. And then the secondary to that, it then helps you plan your email marketing schedule. Okay, so everyone should have this. You should have an email marketing schedule, a paid ad schedule, organic marketing schedule. Okay, if you don't, then use something really simple that you can say, this is my daily action you planned out the entire month, for example, or quarter. Okay, I won't go into that right now. It's probably time for a different video. But an email marketing schedule should be very detailed in saying like, yep, okay, this week I'm sending this email or this many emails. This is the campaign we're specifically doing. And then the next week, the next week, the next week. So you can just basically have it all planned out, rock up and do the work. Okay, use your various tools and things like that. So the other thing that, these big companies do, $1 million brands, and I'll relate this to email marketing firms too, okay? We have used email marketing firms. I've used email marketing firms. They charge, 5, 6, 7 grand a month. Their only job is to get performance from email marketing, okay? So they have to get very creative. They're doing the work for you to get creative in terms of what they send in terms of offers, value, information building, trust, etc. And then secondly is around formatting. So I'll talk about the format first. So you need to obviously send variation of content. Okay, what that basically means is every piece of correspondence, whilst we can be quite, urgent and, done is better than perfect type attitude, we do want to provide value, because once we create a circumstance where people don't value the content that we send anymore, they're going to stop opening it, they're going to unsubscribe, etc. So every piece of content needs to be considered. Okay, but just know if you sign up to your email database that they want to hear from you anyway. So that's just for the first tick. But you do want to be able to create different pieces of content. So that's going to be, an offer. It might be a free shipping Friday. It might be a sale on a particular item. It might be a bundle. It might be something that you've done many, many times in the past, but again, people haven't seen or thought about, or they just loved it so much that they would buy again. It depends obviously on the type of product. You want to be able to send, value. So it's like how to use your product or how customers are using the product. That then rolls into trust building. Okay, that you've had this many happy customers. This is how this happy customer is using it. This is the comments here. There's hundreds of pieces of content that you can send through email marketing, but variety is going to be really important, because not everyone wants to be hammered by sales all the time. They work, don't get me wrong, they work. You want to be a disproportion of like, here's a great offer, this is why you should buy now, but you also want to provide value as well, right? And then the second part of that is formatting. So you can use basically Canva formatted, where it's like very image heavy, link heavy, etc. We just have to be really careful with that, because spam folders, promotion folders are getting really smart. They are defaulting to putting your brands into those sorts of folders versus the primaries. And so if you haven't trained the domain and the sender domain right from the beginning, or trained other people's inboxes, for example, to put you in the primary, chances are you're going to end up in promotion. So we want to give our best chance by changing out formats. And so what I typically advise people is say, sure, send a few image heavy, link heavy emails, but then you also want to send things like from the founder type emails, right? Plain text from Will De Bruin. And it's basically like, hey, we really value being part of our community. This is what we're up to. Or thanks for helping us sell out of this product, or whatever it might be. You can change the variation, but the formatting is important to just shake things up. As I said, to be able to sneak through the primary, or just change the headlines so that people actually understand that it's something different. It's not a sales heavy email. Okay, so there are some really big things that we've taken from working with email marketers, but working with $1 million brands as well, is the variation. One, obviously in the type of content you're sending in terms of the topics, let's call it. And the second thing is obviously the formatting. So really important to be able to experiment with that, okay? And then from that, it's about the speed at which you can build your database. So I talk about planting seeds and harvesting. Planting seeds is building database. Harvesting is being able to make offers to your database, okay? Or just send that information that I was talking about. And so the rate at which you can build is the rate at which you can then harvest. So if you're only growing at 10 people or 20 people or 30 people a month in terms of your database growth, then you're going to have to go a little bit slower when it comes to the ability to actually email and communicate with your database. Whereas if you're growing by 2, 3, 4, 500 per week, that's brand new people to your database. You can actually roll over the offers and the email communication quicker. And we've had several clients in that boat, whether they're sending, a couple $100 or even a couple of $1,000, a day on ads. That's going to obviously increase traffic to site. There's going to be a percentage of those that are sign up and then new people in the database. Okay, so they can turn over and make offers a lot quicker than those people that are, say, running things organically. Okay, so it's very hand in hand with growing, to harvesting, growing to harvesting. It just kind of pings back and forth. But if you have that in mind, it's like, why isn't my email marketing working? It's the factors I've spoken about. I spoke about the mindset. Okay, you need to know that people don't know anything about you, but they want to, right? Then it's about obviously the structure of the emails in terms of our frequency, what you've planned out for your month, then how it's actually topics, right? The topic you're actually sending, and then the formats. Really, really simple stuff. But you have to understand that the money is in the email database, right? Karmic, as a business, can send out an email, make $10,000, $20,000, $30,000 in sales from one email. That's not through some magic fairy dust. Sure, it's an engaged database of past customers over a longer period of time, but the faster you get to that point, the better, obviously, right? It's just in terms of what's being sent and how you're able to extract that revenue has been tested over years. And so again, condensing that from 13 years to 12 months, it's possible. And that's obviously what we do with people inside the program. We condense everything to a 6 to 12 month period of time. Okay. So that's how $1 Million Brands email: attitude, and then schedule and format. Okay. Very, very simple stuff. So look, I hope this was valuable for you. If it was, I'd love a like, love a subscribe. I'm creating videos like this all the time, just sharing what I know and what people are asking my communities as well. So if you want to know more about what we do, you can click on the link below, have a bit of a look, have a chat if you feel like, it's of interest to you. But other than that, thanks for being here. Thanks for watching till the end, and I'll catch you in the next one. See ya.